Hey everyone, I'm Elliot.
I'm Phineas.
And we are the Peters Bros. And we recently asked you guys to send in your questions on our channel update video. The link to that video is in the description box. And we got so many questions that we decided not to make one Q&A video, but to make multiple. So, this is part 1. You should look out for part 2.
We're gonna split it up.
Yeah, but we just loved how many questions we got, and we wanted to answer as many as we could. However, of course, there will be questions that we didn't answer, and that might be because we already answered them in our previous Q&A video. The link to that will be in the description box as well. So without further ado, here is the Peters Bros answering your questions. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. Just a quick disclaimer before we go ahead, though. I am so sorry if I read any of your usernames incorrectly. If it's just like Sparkle Kitty, I'll most likely get that right. But if it is your real name and I mispronounce it, I'm so sorry. Okay, first question comes from Ari B. This is my question. What was your first objective when you created this YouTube channel? Greetings from Mexico. Our first objective when creating this YouTube channel?
I mean, number 1, tell stories, obviously. Because that's one of the best things you can do as a human being. We might as well make some up and make people entertained and happy with them. But a personal goal was to just learn about like filmmaking and stuff, because
yeah,
I mean,
there's a duality in the answer to that question, and the first is what we want people to get out of this channel, and that is stories. We want people to have something that they can experience and be entertained by on our channel. And in the future, you know, we'd like to bring even more to the table when it comes to stories.
Way more.
And come up with our own stories to tell and messages that we'd like to share. But then there's also our personal goal, and that's, like you said, is exploring filmmaking and all of the facets that come with it. Performing, lighting, directing, editing, it's the whole package.
Technical side.
It's really, really fascinating, and it's a lot more complicated than a lot of people think.
So complicated
and so,
and hard.
We just wanted to learn as much about the movie making process
to
as
be
we
more
could.
qualified later in life to keep telling stories and be better at presenting them.
This is from Vincent A. If you could only be a major fan of one single property, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, DC, etc., for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
So I've thought about this question for a long time, because it is so hard to choose things like
it's
that.
So hard.
But I'm gonna go ahead and just say Lord of the Rings, because I feel like I've probably spent at least 40% of my life fandoming over Harry Potter or Star Wars. But Lord of the Rings needs more love for me, so if for the rest of my life from this point onward, I think there's enough exploring I can do in that realm,
yeah,
in that area.
I don't know what I would choose. I grew up with Star Wars from a very early age, and that's really important to me. But the Marvel universe really seems to be going places, and of course Harry Potter is running through my veins. But I can't choose just one. I can see that you're both very intelligent for your age and have a lot of passion for all of this. Do you see where you'll be with all this when you are in adulthood? This is from Chris, KM Chris. That's a good question, and a very broad question, and I think the best answer we can give is kind of what we were saying earlier about how this channel is our way of learning as much as we can about filmmaking. We would love to...
And story structure and
yeah.
the structure of all of the stuff that we do on this channel, and yeah, implement that later. And
we don't know for sure what we'll be doing.
Yeah, but
careers,
definitely
but stories will definitely have something to do with it.
And for me, it's definitely related to films, like either like brother or sister, not even like distant weird cousin. It's that immediate,
it's
that immediate movie family.
Yeah, yeah. Daniel Jimenez asks, can you guys speak another language?
No. I try so hard.
Je parle français un peu. I speak a little French, just a tiny bit. Diego MV asks, have you watched any foreign film, and which ones do you like the most?
We went to like a couple film festivals.
Yeah, back in Rhode Island, the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD, had a film festival every year, and they'd show some foreign films, and so
there was
we
like
saw
a movie about an umbrella, and like...
I don't remember what they were called.
I don't remember what any of them were called.
That was years and years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, going along with French, though, I watched some of the original Tintin cartoons in French.
No, I've definitely seen some of those.
That was like a TV show, though. It's not like a film. But
Tintin's great.
what is your favorite movie soundtrack? That is an impossible question from Mario Garcia.
How dare you ask me that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
How am I going to answer that question?
I have no idea.
I mean, so it's so hard to pick a soundtrack because, I mean, I have the running list of composers, which goes John Williams, who he doesn't even count as the top of my list. He is the title of my list.
He's just too legendary to even have a spot.
And then, yeah, he's too good to make the list. And then Michael Giacchino and then Hans Zimmer, who are both
Howard
amazing.
Shore's on that list.
Howard Shore is
too.
so great. I haven't seen anything that he has composed for other than Lord of the Rings, though. He's not
James Newton Howard is great.
popular enough.
If I had to choose one movie soundtrack,
Star Wars, maybe. Long story short, we have
Too late.
no idea.
Mario Garcia asks, what DC or Marvel character would you like to have their own movie?
Phil Coulson
Phil Coulson.
and Alfred.
Alfred
For
Pennyworth
Marvel and
would
DC.
be a great movie. I've wondered, do you guys go to school, or are you homeschooled, or are you guys just too cool for school? Says Brandon Dietz.
We don't go to school.
Dante Law says, what topics will we be discussing in This Week in Geeks Season 2? We'll definitely be covering Black Panther, because that'll be in February. Infinity War, of course, when it comes out in May.
That's gonna take over fandom for a little while.
Gary K asks, I don't know if this has ever been asked before, but where did Don't Forget to Tell Your Enemies That We're Awesome come from?
That was one of the earliest videos. I don't know which challenge it was. I think it was the Wisp. No, it wasn't the Whisper challenge. Well, it was like we did a bunch of challenge videos at the very beginning of the channel, and they were doing an outro, and we told you guys to tell your friends and family that we were awesome. And
it just escalated.
Yeah. Tell your neighbors.
Tell your neighbors.
Tell your goldfish. Tell your enemies. And it was
enemies stuck. Not the goldfish. That would be weird.
That'd be weird.
Tell your goldfish we're awesome.
That's not going on a t-shirt or anything. But it was a very abrupt thing.
Alan GTZ asks, hi, what's your favorite DC superhero and why? Batman is our favorite DC superhero because he doesn't have any superpowers, and yet he still manages to be the most badass superhero of all time. Ethan's Music Box asks a whole slew of questions, so we're gonna run through them real quick. Whose idea was it to start the channel, and what's different about it than what you expected going into it? I would say that if I had to choose one of us to have come up with the idea for a YouTube channel, it would be Finn. And what's different than we expected going into it? I think the biggest thing is building a YouTube community. I wasn't expecting to interact with such interesting, cool people and get so much amazing feedback from our viewers. Did we have any other ideas for what to name the channel? And if so, what made us choose the Peters Bros?
It was we actually went through surprisingly few.
Yeah, it was always kind of the Peters Bros. That's just what people called us. We were
mostly the Peters Brothers, but we abbreviated it and made it hip and new and cool.
College or career plans? Film.
Movies.
How are you liking your iPhone, Elliot? I'm reading the questions off of it right now, and life is good. How many states have you been to, and how have you been out of the country? We drove through so many states.
I don't remember the number,
across the country.
but it was probably like 5 of them we actually stopped and stayed. Sight saw a little bit.
We were in Missouri. We stayed the night in New Mexico. We've been to New Hampshire. Yes, we have been out of the country. We've been to Canada. We visited Quebec. Dream trip or vacation? Speaking of going overseas, I'd love to go to Europe. I'd love to visit Ireland and Scotland and Wales and England. And also Australia. I'd love to go to
Australia would be great. Definitely.
Except that everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Tons of
I know.
places.
I want to go everywhere. Favorite Christmas music artist? Bing.
Yeah, obviously.
Bing Crosby, all the way. Literally, his Christmas album is called The Voice of Christmas. What do we want to happen, or what are we most excited about for Star Wars The Last Jedi?
Luke Skywalker. We talked about this earlier.
We need more. Just all the Luke.
It should just be all Luke.
Would you ever consider creating your own show or short film on the channel from an original storyline you create?
Yes!
Goodness gracious,
have considered that, and we've written a couple things, and nothing has been settled.
Yeah, we're waiting for the right time and the right project. Annie Voss asks, who is your favorite Disney princess?
Does Mulan count? Because if so, we won.
If not, who?
Probably Belle.
Yeah, for me it's between Rapunzel and Belle. Who or what inspired your love for movies and cinema? Someone in our life who who inspired that would be our dad. But someone outside of that, like, who's a big inspiration in the film industry?
There was a movie called Dinotopia. Remember that?
It
That
was a miniseries.
I just rewatched a section of it. It was in a different language for some reason, but I was like, that is the epitome of everything I've subconsciously ever wanted to make.
Storybrooke Forest has a bunch of questions. Who are your celebrity crushes?
Chloe Bennett.
That was fast. Emma Watson has always been a celebrity crush of mine. Favorite foods? Tofu pad thai.
Oh, those tofu skewers
Now
that
I'm
I was talking
so
about
hungry.
on a vlog the other day.
Favorite TV show or favorite movie? Favorite
Lost
TV show,
is
that's
our favorite
easy.
TV show.
Lost, all the way. Favorite movie, though?
Favorite movie? So impossible. I'd say Sixth Sense is right now at the top of my list, and then right under that is Inception.
Favorite actors or actresses?
Terry O'Quinn and Ian DeCastecker.
Harrison Ford, Bill Murray.
Bill
I
Murray.
love Bill Murray.
Everything, yeah. Everything about Bill Murray. I want his mind. I want to be him.
Ian McKellen. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is amazing.
Yeah.
Favorite quote? Of course there are such gems as do or do not, there is no try. If we can't live together, we're gonna die alone.
I'm sure there's some really amazing ones that I cannot remember right now.
Favorite throwback show? Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Favorite YouTubers?
Casey Neistat,
I love How It Should Have Ended and bad lip reading. If you could be one Disney character, who would it be?
I would want to be Dopey because ignorance is bliss.
I would want to be Flash from Zootopia. Lindsay Ochoa asks, future projects for this channel, will there be any more skits or series to come? Of course. Favorite TV show right now? Favorite TV show will always and forever be Lost. However, right now we're in the middle of watching season 1 of The Flash, which is really great.
It has a lot of potential.
Of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still ongoing.
I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Do you want Disney to buy 21st Century Fox like the reports say that they're considering it? Yes. Since you guys are such movie fans, which movie watching experience do you like better? Going to the theater or watching at home?
Ooh.
I actually personally like going to the theater better because Phineas talks a lot during movies.
Well, if we're rewatching, if we watch a movie for the first time, I will not.
I had to pause Inception like 7 times.
That is true.
Because you kept talking.
Some movies that are like mysteries, we'll pause it and talk about it a lot. So
yeah, if there's like a discussion, we gotta pause it. We gotta talk about it.
So that's good at home.
But
like, the theater is so exciting.
For the first time watching a movie, I love watching it in the movie theaters. Rewatching in the movie theaters,
unless it is like a big
I don't
mystery
think
thing.
that's such a big deal. I like rewatching at home. Peace says, are you a Marvel or DC fan?
Well, is it MCU or DCEU fan? Because the Dark Knight trilogy is better than all of the Marvel films, in my opinion. But right now we are more into the MCU than the DCEU. But we're going to see all of the DC films, and
we're going to see them all anyway.
We're rooting for them so much.
Yes.
I really want...
Because we really do love those characters.
Success. And Wonder Woman was so great.
If it's comics, though, I think that DC might win out over Marvel, in my opinion. This is from Billy Boy 200707. Would you cast yourself in a movie if you were a director?
It depends on the movie.
Yeah, it would depend on the project. It would have to be a smaller project. Elizabeth says, are there any other comic book characters that you would like to see in the DCEU or MCU? I want to see the X-Men in the MCU so bad. And the Fantastic Four. I think that if anyone can do the Fantastic Four justice, it's the people who are working on the MCU right now, Kevin Feige and his brilliant story team. In the DCEU, I think that there are some great Batman villains who deserve some screen time. What would be the worst buy one, get one free sale of all time?
Left Shoe.
That's a good one.
Really bad. Of all time, though, it'd have to be something really bad, like a weird baby.
Well, it would have... Have you ever experienced winter? This is from Joshua Segui.
We have lived for at least a year on Earth, so we have experienced winter. I guess what I mean is like a snowy winter, which we have.
We are
very
from
much,
Rhode Island,
which gets lots of snow.
And we moved shortly after Snowpocalypse, so we know a thing or two.
And then at the end of part 1, be sure to watch out for part 2.
Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet, and don't forget to tell your enemies that we are awesome.